So now we're going to be taking a look at an anime called Macross, or the full title is The Super Dimension Fortress Macross, but seriously, who the fuck calls it that anyway? And it's a mecha anime that also has some romance thrown in. And no, he does not fuck the robot in it. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they actually had an anime where it's all about a guy fucking a mech or something. But anyways, one thing that does make this show interesting is the fact that this was actually one of the 3 shows that made up the bigger show called Robotech. And yeah, I'll get to that one eventually, but I think for now we're going to start with this one first. So let's talk about the story first, as usual. So it is the year 1999, and an alien spacecraft crashes into the South Islands on Earth. But 10 years later, the UN Spacey decides to rebuild a spacecraft that is fucking humongous called the Macross. And the main character, Hikaru Ichicho, is a pilot, but he mostly just likes to fly planes for fun. But he was invited to go to the launch ceremony of the Macross by Roy Fokker. Yeah, that's right, I said Fokker, not fucker. Although what's funny is that when some of the characters yell out his name, sometimes if you listen closely it almost sounds like they say fucker, but no, it's actually just Fokker. Gotta wonder if he's related to the people in the movie Meet the Fockers. Probably not, and I'm getting off topic here, so let's move on. So anyways, Roy is an official pilot who works for the UN Spacey. And during the ceremony, an alien race of humanoid giants arrives and just starts to fuck shit up. Humanoid giants, eh? Kinda wonder if the anime Attack on Titan got their ideas from this. Or at least inspired by it, but either way, it was just something that came into mind. But the alien race is known as Zentradi, so of course you would imagine a war breaks out. So while that is all going on, Hikaru ends up flying around in the VF-1 Valkyrie, and while doing so, he ends up encountering someone named Lin Minmei, who is a young girl who helps out in a local restaurant. So he ends up saving her from the aliens, but of course it wasn't very easy because he didn't know how to control the robot part of it. Because a lot of the mechs, or vehicles, I guess you can call them in this show, they transform, where there's an airplane mode, and then there's a robot mode, and then there's one where it's kind of like half and half, where it has like the model of an airplane but just with legs. It's pretty interesting, and I kind of like it. But meanwhile, the Macross crew attempts to use a fold system to escape to the moon's orbit, but it pretty much takes everything with them. And what I mean by everything, I mean they pretty much took the entire damn island. So now all the people that live there now have to salvage everything and make sure to live a happy life on the Macross ship itself. So pretty much they're living in a town in the ship. And that is some basics that you need to know about what goes on in this show, but of course I would like to explain a little bit on Hikaru. Well, pretty much he got forced into doing all this shit because Roy Fokker told him to. In fact, Roy keeps on telling him to go join the army because he likes flying planes and such, but Hikaru doesn't really like that idea because he just wants to fly them around for fun. But after being stuck inside the Macross, lost in the middle of nowhere with Minmei, if I remember right, they were stuck in there for at least 12 days. Until something breaks through the ceiling and then they get saved and now they realize that, oh, we're on the regular town, but instead we're in a giant ship. So after all that happened, Hikaru ends up deciding to say, you know what, maybe I should join the military. I mean, it's not like I can do anything else around here. So I think you know the usual thing here, you know, he ends up going on random missions and whatnot, and of course later on he gets promoted, and then he gets like 2 wingmen that help him out. And they are Maximilian Genius, I wonder if he's a genius, and Heiawa Kakaziki. So that's all well and good, and now you're probably wondering, well, what the hell is with the romance shit? Now, I think it's pretty obvious to tell that Minmei is the love interest for Hikaru, and he's always trying to see her as much as he can, but it is kind of difficult considering that he always has to go out on like random missions all the time. And I think we're pretty good when it comes to the story because, well, I'll say it right here is that I fucking love it. Now, I could talk about this like all day if I really wanted to, but I think I'll keep it short for this. But seriously though, I just really enjoyed the story in this show. I really enjoy the characters, I really enjoy their interactions with each other, I enjoy some of the backstories. And of course, the show can actually be pretty damn funny at times. So that's always a plus. And it has some really awesome action scenes too, so that's also another plus. So you do get a little bit of variety here. I mean, you got romance, you get science fiction, you get action, you get some funny shit, and you also get some serious shit too, but that's all well and good. And I know I have explained in the past that I wasn't really too big on romance shows, but I have to say, this is probably one of the best romance-related things I've ever watched. Then again, this show did come out before the time where now everything is all about, like, massive publicity of fan service and guy having a nosebleed all over the place and, you know, all that shit. Now, yeah, the show does have fan service, but it's very minimal. meaning that it doesn't oversaturate the story. Now, something I think I may need to clear up here is that I almost sounded like an old, elitist for, older animes and thinking, oh, everything that's new sucks. And I just want to say that's not entirely true. In fact, there's a lot of newer animes that I actually really did enjoy that are not, all about the fan service and the nosebleeds and all that crap. And even if it does have a little bit, as long as it doesn't oversaturate the story, I'm good. So no, I'm not an elitist. I just wanted to say that right there just because I had a feeling that someone would complain about it if I didn't mention it. But anyways, let's move on. So now, as for the animation, all I have to say is that it's pretty damn fantastic by all means. I mean, everything just looks really well detailed, and the action scenes, fucking awesome. And the character designs look really good as well, and same with the designs of all the mechs and the vehicles and whatnot. So I really can't complain too much, but one thing I did found to be kind of fascinating is that I actually found the animation in this show looks almost as good as Bubblegum Crisis, and if anyone has watched my review on that, you know that I said that the animation in that show is just phenomenal. So with that being said, for 1982, definitely fucking awesome and impressive looking. Now as for the music in this show, it's definitely great. Now I'm pretty sure you know that, yeah, I'm gonna say that it's very, soothing and that it's also, very epic sounding. But of course, the opening theme. Oh man, I love that shit. Not only is it catchy, but as soon as you start hearing it, you know it's gonna be awesome. So as for the music, well, need I say more? It's awesome. And now as for the voice acting, I have to say the voice acting is surprisingly pretty good. Now it's not the best thing I ever heard, but it's definitely a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. So Hikaru is played by Vic Mignogna, who is really good. At least I have been a fan of Vic for quite some time, and I have to say, he actually did pretty good with this role. And then you have John Swasey as the captain, which is also really good. And then you have Roy Fokker, who is being played by Brett Weaver, who is pretty good. Although I'm not too familiar with his voice work, but in here, he's actually pretty good. And then Maximilian is being played by Chris Patton, who is actually pretty good, so I really can't go wrong with him. And then Misa is being played by Monica Ryle, who is also really good. Now, the only voice that is really annoying is whoever played Minmay in this show. I can't find out who actually done her voice, but all I have to say is that it's really annoying. Now, I get it, they're trying to give her some accent of some sort, but it just feels really off. Although the more when I watched the show, the more it kind of grew on me, and then it stopped annoying me, but it was still kind of weird though. But that's really the only complaint I have. I mean, everyone else at least does a decent job or a good job. Yes, even Greg Reese plays in this show, and he's not playing a fucking bitch character for once. Well, excluding the role he did in Another, because, well, that show fucking rules. But overall, the voice acting is pretty good, so I really don't have a whole lot of complaints other than Minmay's voice, but really, it's not the worst thing in the world. Now, as for the score, you know, I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10, and like I already said, and I'm gonna explain it every time I do it, because I know if I don't, someone's gonna all bitch at me for it. Whenever I give out a 10 out of 10, it does not mean that the show is, completely perfect, there's nothing wrong with it, blah blah blah. No, I just mean that giving it a 10 out of 10 is because it has as minimal flaws as possible, and it also happens to be very highly entertaining, and well, I think this show qualifies as that. Not only does this show kick ass, but it's actually one of my favorites. But I think I already said everything that needs to be said. I mean, the action scenes are really good, the romance scenes are really good, and funny at times. It has great characters, awesome animation, and some pretty epic music. So for me, you really can't go too much wrong with this anime. And it is my opinion on it, and I'm pretty sure the reason why you clicked on this is to hear about my opinion on it, and well, there you go. I think it's fucking awesome. So as I already said before, I could go on and on about this show, but I think we're gonna have to end it right here. So if you never watched this show, I'd recommend you to go do it.